Kia ora, I'm Jo, Kiwibank Economist. So for the first time in 7 years, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand lifted the cash rate to 0.5%. Now the hike was widely expected and pretty well signalled by the Reserve Bank, which explains the relatively subdued moves we saw in financial markets following the announcement. Now the Reserve Bank had intended to lift the cash rate and kick off this tightening cycle back in August, but it held off because of the Delta outbreak. Now, despite restrictions still remaining largely in place, particularly within Auckland, the medium-term economic outlook remains broadly the same. The New Zealand economy was running hot heading into this latest lockdown, and the labour market had returned to full employment. Inflation is also accelerating. Not only has it breached the top end of the Reserve Bank's 1 to 3% target band, but it's also expected to remain elevated. Firms continue to face rising costs because of capacity constraints and global supply chain disruptions, which are proving much more persistent. There's real risk here that these so-called transitory price pressures become entrenched. On top of this, house prices continue to rise at an unsustainable rate. So taking all of this into consideration, there's good reason for the Reserve Bank to withdraw stimulus. So we expect this lift in the cash rate to be the first in a series of hikes towards 1.5% by the middle of next year. Now, of course, our projections are conditional on the current COVID outbreak. Again, we're dealing with the Delta variant, and it's proving much more difficult to stamp out. Should the outbreak escalate and we return to tighter restrictions, that could challenge the medium-term outlook. We'd expect the Reserve Bank to again pause if the outlook deteriorates. But in saying that, the New Zealand economy is proving incredibly resilient to these lockdowns, so it would take a far worse disruption to materially change the outlook. For now, we're expecting the Reserve Bank to continue normalising monetary policy with a follow-up move in November. That's it from me this week. Talk to you in the next one.